Hello my moody friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Mariah and this is Mariah's Mood. So guys, I am so excited because I've been working on something for the last few months and I think it is finally ready to show you guys and hop into it. I created a TBR game. So this is It's a Mood TBR game. It's kind of hard to get the whole thing in frame, but we'll take a look at it. But I'm so excited. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It is just, like I've been working on this for months. Basically, I repurposed a old Game of Life board into something that I wanted, and I'm just so excited. So TBR Games is something that I love to watch on YouTube. I love to see all the different ways that people have created these games to help build their TBRs. They're so creative, and I've always just wanted to have like my own TBR game to play. So I decided a few months back that I was going to create a TBR game. So I did lots of research. I got lots of inspiration from a lot of booktubers, and I tweaked and made things that I felt I would enjoy, some things that I would want out of a game, and It's a Mood TBR game was born. I'm just so excited. Like I said, it's not 100%. There's some things that I want to tweak as far as like design goes. As far as the game and rules, I think I'm pretty solid on that, but I'm slightly perfectionist. So there's some things that I see that need to be finished, but I'm just anxious. I just want to hop into it. So this month we will be doing It's a Mood TBR game. So let's go ahead and move over to the table so I can give you a rundown of what the board looks like, what are the rules, what are some of the ways that we are going to move through the game, how you guys can be involved, and how do I actually win. Okay, so welcome to the It's a Mood TBR game board. I'm going to take a minute to go over kind of the rules, how to play the game, what the different icons mean, what are some of the rewards or challenges that I can come in contact with as I'm playing the game, what happens once I finish the game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the board. So for each month, I'm going to start with 5 spins. So that would result in either 5 or more books, depending on what I land on, but more than likely going to have at least 5 books added to the TBR for the month. I'll start at the start sign, and then I will travel around the board till I get to the finish. So as you can see, the board is made up of different genres. I picked my favorite genres to kind of design the board around. And each genre has its own little island. So we have sci-fi, we have horror. Towards the top, we have fantasy, romance, and then just general fiction. And so those islands will come into play as we play the game, but I am not limited to just choosing books depending on the island I am in. So I'll explain that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and go through some of the icons. So you can see on the board we have solid color icons as well as different little illustrations around the board, and each of those represents a different prompt or activity. So when I land on any type of space that doesn't have an icon on it, that is just going to be a game pick. So we have our It's a Mood TBR game cards. So this is if I land on any of the solid colors, and so these will just be random prompts based on just that solid color. So for example, we could have creativity is very rewarding, pick a winning book. So there's lots of different random prompts in here that will kind of give me some direction to choose a book. So I'll have to pick a book based on what this card says. So the next one we can look at are the little book stacks on the brown spaces. These are actually going to be bookish activities for the month. I only have a few just depending on the spaces that I have so far, but we could read outside. We have visit an indie bookstore. Random generator chooses how long I read. So there's some challenges in there, and there's also some interaction with you guys. So I might host some reading sprints for the month, or you guys get to choose what my next read will be on my TBR. So those will be more bookish activities, more interactive things that we could do together. Let's see. So then when we have this little blue icon that have the people, that will be family member chooses. So I have a card for each living being in my family that may be husband, child, even pet could choose. So if I land on that, I will randomly pick a card and we will see who picks. So I'm not quite 100% sure if I'm ready to share my children's personal information. So their nicknames represent who's going to pick. So this would be my second child. Her nickname is Ladybug. So, but we also have Luna, my dog. She could also pick depending on what I pull. Let's see. Oh, here's a fun one. So when we see the little black spaces with a ghost, those are going to be nightmare prompts. So nightmare prompts aren't necessarily punishments. It's just going to be things that I wouldn't naturally kind of gravitate to kind of mimic a punishment. But at the end of the day, I'm still reading, so it's not going to be too terrible. But we have things like finish a DNF'd book, pick an intimidating book, pick a book out of my comfort zone, and these will come into play other than just those spaces as well. Something that I kept similar to life was the stop signs. So there's 3 stop signs in the game, and each one of those are going to have a certain prompt or something that I have to respond to, some type of action to move past that stop sign. So we will look at those once we actually get into the game. We have these yellow happy face spaces. These are going to be mood reads because at the end of the day, I am a mood reader. So I wanted to give myself a little bit of leniency of having a mood read possibly for that month that I can just pick up, and I would let you guys know what that book was at the end of the month for my wrap up. I just wanted to still be able to keep my mood. Okay, so these gray spaces with the magnifying glasses, that is going to be a blind pick. So I will just grab a couple of books from the stack of things that I would hope to read that month, and I will blindly choose one of those books to add to my TBR. And then the last icon we have are the little rainbows. So if I land on a rainbow, first of all, that automatically is going to add a spin. So I have to add a spin, but also to actually get a book added to the TBR, I have to pick a book for wherever that rainbow lands in that island. So for example, if I were to land here, I would need to pick a sci-fi book, or I would need to pick a horror book. If the rainbow is in an area that's kind of overlapping, so for example, this one is both like in horror island, but also kind of moving into fantasy island, I need to pick a book that's going to have kind of both of those vibes. So maybe like a paranormal horror. So I think that's all of the spaces that will provide some prompts. So let's go ahead and take a look at how am I actually going to finish this game and what are the rewards for finishing this game. So you can see that there are different green spaces with money signs on there. Those represent book tokens. So if I land on that space, I get to collect a book token. But also I have this bowl here of book tokens. So for every book on my TBR that I actually finish, I get to collect a book token. So as I am going through the game, there will be other opportunities to collect book tokens as well. So once I actually finish the game, for every 3 book tokens that I have collected, that's going to be 1 book that I can purchase from the bookstore. So we'll see after this first complete round how many book tokens I've actually gotten and if 3 is good or if I should bump it to 5, because I'm also not trying to break my bank. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as It's a Mood TBR rules, icons, what have you. Let's go ahead and start playing the game. Okay, so since this is our first round, we're gonna go ahead and start at the start spot. I just chose this little pink car, by the way. I want to customize it, so if you have any ideas of like car inspiration of what I should do to my car, let me know, or to leave it pink. Anyways, let's go ahead and begin with our first spin. Okay, I got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I came to a stop sign, and I cannot move forward until I actually read and respond to that prompt. Okay, so for the first stop sign that we come to, we have, stop. Did you read all of your books on last month's TBR? If yes, collect a book token for each finished book. If no, collect a book token for each finished book and add a spin to this month's round. So I did not, Cheeto. I unfortunately did not finish my September TBR, but I did finish 4 books. So I'm going to collect 4 tokens, and then I do have to add a spin to this round as punishment. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I will keep tally of this as we play month to month. All right, next spin. So that spin technically was spin number 1, but now since I added a spin, I actually have 6 spins. So 5 more to go. Okay, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I landed on the purple space, so that's just going to be a random mood card. Let's do this one. Love is love. Pick an LGBTQIA book or author. All right, so for the first spin, we had pick a LGBTQIA author or book. So for this prompt, I have decided to pick up Vicious by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab is a member of the LGBTQ community, and I love their work. I've been really wanting to dig back into V.E. Schwab with the new release of her like spinoff of The Darker Shade of Magic, but I kind of just want to reread one of my favorite books from them, so I've decided to pick up Vicious. I just look at this on my shelf all the time and I'm like, I just want to read you. And so I love the cover. It's not necessarily spooky, but it kind of has a little bit of spooky vibe, which I think would be great for this time of the year. So this is following 2 friends in college that basically discover a way of creating like superheroes and what they call extraordinaries or EOs. And through this process, a major event happens that basically turn these 2 friends against one another. And it's just a story of revenge, and things aren't always what they seem to the public. And I don't want to say too much more, but I absolutely love this book and I want to reread it because it has been a very long time since I've read this book, and I just want to hop back in with V.E. Schwab. They're just amazing. They're absolutely amazing. So this will definitely be our first book of the TBR. Okay, so let's go ahead with spin number 3 of 6. 2. All right, we are on another solid, so I'm going to pick a moody card. All right, and it says, come on. Okay, Buzz Buzz, pick this month's buzzword book. Okay, so then we got Buzz Buzz, pick the buzzword book for the month. October's buzzword is magic words, and Kayla is super awesome, so she's not necessarily saying that you have to have the word magic in the title, but things like associated with magic. So with that being said, I'm going to pick up The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. So this book is absolutely adorable, but also I'm picking it because it's going to be actually a double win for me because this is my In Real Life Book Club's pick for part of October. So I need to read it anyway, and it just happens to fit with buzzword. I mean, it's witches. Witches are magic, right? There's magic in this book. So I'm going to say that it counts. So this book is following Mika. Mika is a witch, and where she lives, witches have to be very, very secretive of who they are, obviously. So they don't really see each other. They don't interact with each other much. But one thing about witches is once they are born, almost immediately they are orphaned. So they have to live alone. They don't have family. And she only gets to really interact with witches every couple of months or so. So a way for her to kind of express herself and to talk about her magic without really talking about her magic is she starts posting videos for like witchcore. And that gets the attention of a family who really needs the help of a witch. And the reason is they actually have 3 children in their home that are witches that have no control over their magic. And so they reach out to Mika for help to basically teach these young witchlings how to control their magic. Well, Mika is very, very apprehensive because having so many witches in a small area can be a little dangerous, but she really doesn't have much else to do and really wants to help these kids. So she goes to basically teach these witchlings how to control their magic. I think there's gonna be also some romance involved because we got this little guy right here. But this cover is just absolutely adorable. The story sounds cozy. I don't think it's like super high stakes, so I think it'll be a great pick for October. Plus, I already have to read it for my book club, so game board for the win. Okay, so let's go ahead with spin at number 4 of 6. Oh, 4. Another solid spin. So we're gonna pick a Moody card. Book Talk sometimes slaps. Pick a Book Talk favorite. So we have Book Talk slaps, pick a Book Talk favorite. This was kind of difficult because on my shelves I have Book Talk popular books, but then I don't have that many, and I really want to stick to like the spooky vibes because it's October. But I didn't have any like overwhelmingly popular like spooky horror thrillers that I would really want to read from Book Talk. So I decided to go with a little bit of fantasy, but I think it'll still kind of fit the vibes of this month. So I decided to go with The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have had this on my shelves for way too long, and I think it's just about time. It's fantasy, there's magic involved, and I do love reading fantasy in the fall, so I think it'll just fit. So this is following Jude. Jude was orphaned when her parents were murdered like many, many years ago. I think she was very, very young. And they were basically sent to live in the world of Fae. Well, Fae hate humans, especially the prince. Jude really wants nothing more than to just live in this world. So despite the fact that this young prince absolutely hates humans, she has to defy him to find her place at court. That's really all I know, is just basically the synopsis of the back of this book. I couldn't tell you any more. I think it's romance, fantasy, romantasy. Don't know if it's adult, don't know if it's YA. I just know Book Talk loves this book for a very long time. And I think I just need to go ahead and hop on the train and see if I'm going to be one of those people as well. All right, spin number 5 of 6. 5. Oh, okay. I'm getting pretty lucky this round. Just Moody cards for the moment. All right. Come on. Every character needs a furry sidekick. Pick a book with an animal in the title. Okay, so we got Pick a Book with an Animal on the cover. For this one, I'm going to go with Bunny by Mona Awad. It's got the nice bunny on the cover. So this book is following Samantha, who is attending an elite college in New England. She's going through a writing program, and within that program, there's this clique of really, really rich girls that call themselves the Bunny. Well, Samantha gets an invitation to join their book club, which they call the Smut Salon, and she kind of gets immersed into this world of the bunnies, and things just kind of go a little crazy, and it gets very unhinged. I've heard this is kind of like a fever dream. I really think that I'm really going to love this book, and it's just been something that's been sitting on my shelves for so long. And it's time to hop into Bunny, and what better time to do it? Okay, let's go ahead and do our final spin for the month. Okay, so we have 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that is a blind pick. So how that works is I will grab a stack of books that I'm hoping to read this month, and I will blindly choose which book to add to the TBR. And so for next month, we will start on this space and keep playing the board until we have finished the game. Okay, so for this one, I got the blind pick. And this is going to be where I'm going to pick a stack of books. I have 5 books in front of me, all of which are ones that I would like to potentially read this month. I'm just going to close my eyes and kind of just like feel and randomly choose a book. and whatever I pick is going to be added to the TBR. So to give you a quick just a rundown of the 5 books that I potentially could read this month, I have Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, and the one that I'm really hoping that I land on is The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. So I'm going to just put these in a stack. I'm going to close my eyes and just kind of run my finger down the spine, and whatever I land on is going to be what I read. But I don't want to just, I'm going to be fair because I don't want to just like know, okay, like this book and that book and this book. So, okay, let's get all of the spines. Am I even? I hope I'm in view. Okay. And stop. Okay, what did I land on? Oh my god! I promise I did not cheat. I hope all of that was in view. But I landed on The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. This is something I just recently picked up on date night with my husband, and I just have been staring at this for one. Oh my god! That cover. So I don't know much about this book, so I'm just going to read it off the back. So it says that tucked away behind a notorious house of ill repute, there is a garden where the trees are made of bones. It is tended by women that live and work at the orchard house. So we have Charm the Madam and her haunting beautiful charges, shame, justice, desire, pride, and pain. So basically the emperor summons Charms to his deathbed to hear his final decree. Charm must choose which of his awful, faithless sons will inherit the empire by discovering which one is responsible for his own murder. If she completes the final task, she will be freed from a life of bondage and servitude, but she must choose what is important, her freedom or the taste of revenge. This just sounds really interesting. It sounds creepy and eerie, but we've got a mystery happening. Trees made of bones? Oh, I love it. I cannot wait to hop into this one. I'm so glad the blind pick was it. All right, so here are the 5 books that we ended up with from our first round of It's a Mood TBR. I am so excited to be playing this book. I think already I've gotten some awesome picks. I've gotten about a good chunk of the way through the board at this point, so I'm really excited to see how this ends and how many book tokens I'll have by the end of this round. I hope that you enjoyed watching the game. I hope that you continue to come back and see what the game has in store for us, and hopefully we'll get some more of those interactive prompts that we can do some stuff together. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all of the things. If you like bookish lifestyle content, you're in the right place. I hope your day is full of good moods and good vibes, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!